All right, guys. I apologize for that. It looks like this dumb smoke detector went off when I was burning frankincense. Uh, there's actually benefits in the burning of frankincense. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna pick up where I left off at. And if you catch the replay, you catch the replay. Uh, Again, forgive me for that. It's just a little mishap I had. I meant nothing by it, but let's continue where we left off. There's benefits in burning frankincense, so that's why I was burning them. You know, it also set the mood and got me going when it came to this. Okay,
against her will. So feminism here demands these rights. Yeah, this is acceptable, but generally speaking, nobody thinks of it this way. Feminism usually is either liberal or extreme. They go to demands of equality. So they would come to Islam and scrap out half of it because it's not logical. Why does a daughter inherits half the son's wealth when the father dies? Why does she get half of it? Why is the blood money, when a murder takes place by mistake or intentionally, is half of a male's blood money? Why doesn't she lead the prayer, give sermons? Why can't she be a ruler? Why can't she be a judge? Why can't she mix with men? This is all not related to Islam. And anyone calling for such things may risk getting out of the fold of Islam.
but they don't understand that. That's why unfortunately, uh, eh, that's why unfortunately, uh, you know, um, they don't realize that uh, they're they're treading a thin line when they bring these ideas into Islam. And eh, my thing is like, okay, well, you see the ideas obviously aren't working in the West. You see they're not working, but yet you still insist on pushing this this ideology, and it doesn't work, but you're still pushing it. Like, that's what makes me confused about the whole thing, basically.
Allah Azza wa Jal, when it comes to equality, Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. Male is not like a female. So there's no equality. And whenever women want equality, then they should conceive 1 year and the following year let their husbands conceive. When they they want equality, they should oppose a man marrying more than one wife, which is mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah. Well, that would be totally blasphemous. Yeah, you would have exited the fold of Islam 100%. Therefore, this concept of feminism is totally against Islam. And unfortunately, some speakers, women who are Muslims, they address men, they speak to men without any shame, without any bashfulness, and never the companion females, the mother of the believers, had done such a heinous thing. But
that's the problem. They don't like them. That's the situation. They don't like them. Like, I hate to say it, but Muslim women in the West don't like Khadijah. Muslim women in the West don't like Aisha. Muslim women in the West don't like Salama. That's the thing. That's what needs to be said about this whole situation. If they did, then they would go against everything that the West has to offer, because the only thing that the West has to offer is pretty much debauchery, but they don't go against it. I don't care if they get angry. I don't care. I can say that for me, I do love Umar. I do love Abu Bakr. I do love Abdul Allah ibn Auf. I do love Khalid ibn Walid. I do love Ubaidah ibn Samit. I do love these people, but I know that I will never amount to half of the people they are. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, I still love them, though. And I would still take their way over this this way that we have right now, that has turned everything upside down.
unfortunately, it's the culture, it's the system. It's when you see something everywhere, you become brainwashed and you fall into such a mistake. May Allah Azza wa Jal preserve the Muslim ummah.
I mean, now he's a hardcore Wahhabi, but I don't. But he brought on some practical points. That's the thing. He brought on very, very practical, very, very, very practical points, basically. As sad as it sounds, like mostly the Wahhabis are the ones on the forefront when it does come to the feminism and the patriarchy.
Assalamu alaikum. This is an urgent appeal for the people of Yemen. The suffering
French, for example, French is a very patriarchal, misogynist, sexist language.
No problem.
As is Spanish.
Let me. We can talk about.
So now languages are misogynist, and now you hear this. Now languages are misogynist and heterosexual, whereas but notice that with most languages they have two different genders. So if the language was like misogynistic, why would they have two genders in the language?
Patriarch in a second, but what I was going to say was that French language, yeah, they actually have commissions in place to try and basically keep the language pure in a sense, yeah?
They do.
Yeah. So in English language, what happens is, the language is malleable in the sense that we can actually introduce new words into the language.
The number of words in French,
Yeah.
the number of words in English.
So as far as I know, according to majority of dictionaries, now the word guys can include males and females. And if you're arguing from, let's say, a woman's perspective, or you want the words to be more inclusive or whatever, I would say that's a good thing. Why not own the word guys in a sense?
No, because
You don't
guy
want it?
means something very specific.
All right, well,
Men.
let's make it more general then.
I'm saying you should come up with new words. And
No
I'm saying
problem.
that
You
men-
have the right to come up with new words.
Yeah, but are the men going to use those words?
Yeah, if you
Are
use
you
them.
willing to stand here?
Yeah, no problem.
Well, I would say you all, or y'all, or ladies and gentlemen, or something that's more inclusive. But
So
you're just
let's
gonna
talk.
keep saying
Let's
guys.
get to the heart of it, right? Let's talk about patriarchy.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about patriarchy, okay? So for me, I think that there are layers of oppression, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not denying, I've never denied that men oppress women. And that's the idea of patriarchy, where you have men oppressing women or exploiting them in any system, in any given system, okay?
I disagree with that, because when you really when you really think about it, a patriarchy, it doesn't necessarily oppress the woman. It just puts everything in its natural order. You know, like, so, yes, sometimes, okay, yes, I would, yes, but most of the time when you had a patriarchy, like when you had like a Islamic patriarchy, things went pretty smooth. Like when you had Uthman Damfodio, when that was like the when that was the order of the day, it worked. Oh, really? I'm gonna check out his channel. Let's hear what uh militant feminist has to say.
But what I find is a problematic element of the feminist argument. I'm not saying that you're a feminist, but I'm just saying that those are
Just
the.
like I don't see you as speaking for all
But
Muslims.
what I was gonna say, yeah, of course. But what I was gonna say was what I find problematic about it is that what's not identified is that there are different layers of oppression. For instance, yeah, yes, it's true that men oppress women, but it's also true that women oppress women. So, for instance, here in
That's
the
part of patriarchy.
yeah, and men oppress men.
So how is it? So how is it part of patriarchy for a woman to oppress a woman? Please make that make sense. How does that make it even any sense?
For instance, yeah.
No, but we're talking about a systemic.
She's talking about systemic.
Yeah.
Like racism.
So now, like, I reckon.
And so you have this cuck supporting her, knowing damn well that she has no respect for him. You hear the guy on the side?
People aren't racist. There's a systemic.
But there is a. I would argue there's a systemic problem in the system of capitalism that we have. Yeah, I would call it a problem whereby
Capitalism and patriarchy work together.
Yeah, and I believe that we have to identify those things, right? But so if we're saying that, for instance, you're a woman, yeah, as far as I can identify. In Africa, you have men. In my opinion, me and you, yeah, are working in a system, contributing to it and not objecting to it in some cases. Maybe this is an example of us working in that direction, but usually not objecting to a system of economics, which means that people in the West, men and women, exploit people in the African subcontinent, for example. Okay, if that's the case, then why is there a special word for when men oppress women, and there is no special word for when women oppress women that are also, or men even, in the African subcontinent? Because that's, I would argue, a more exacerbated reality. It's more problematic. Now it's imperialism, but what I believe feminism is what it's like. It's kind of like Marxism in a sense, because it defines very clearly the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. The bourgeoisie are the men. The proletariat are the women.
Are very bad feminists.
No, I understand. You have Marxist feminists, but what I'm saying is the structure, the framework is very, very similar. So the bourgeoisie become men, and the proletariat are the women. Yeah, and it's almost as if there is a systemic exploitation of women by men throughout the histories or throughout the times. What I'm saying to you is that it's more complicated than that. Yeah, when we look at the household, when you look at the bulk of human civilization, 7 billion individuals on the planet Earth, and we look at historical civilizations and populations that existed within them, what you do have, whatever way you want to look at it, is hegemony. So you have at the top a system or a people or an empire or a country or countries or a hemisphere that is usually a beneficiary of some kind of economic system. In this case, it's capitalism. Yeah. So here,
I don't understand why you're making a connection between
So-
capitalism and
no. This is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
oppression of women. I
No,
don't
what I'm
see any
saying.
connection.
No, what I'm trying to say is this.
That's probably the
No.
opposite.
What I'm trying to say is, just as I agree that there are some men that oppress some women. Yeah. I'm saying to you
It's not just an individual.
No. But what I'm saying to you is that women oppress some men and also some women. So here, what you have to see is that basically oppression is rampant and everywhere. So here, what you're basically saying to me is that why don't we have this and that or patriarchy, whatever. I'm saying that listen, humans
Barely
oppress.
let me speak, so you don't really
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what
of course.
I'm saying.
No, but that's what you said before. I'm just So what I'm saying to you, what I'm saying to you is
the masculine energy, the combativeness, the willingness not to listen. Yeah, typical militant feminist. Typical. Now, I'm not really familiar with the speaker. Someone said there was some dirt on him, but I just used it as an example because his example is true.
Being oppressed, I think.
no, sorry. What I'm saying to you is that people are oppressing people. Yeah. Now there are some very women specific.
Like men are raped too. I know.
No, I'm not saying men are raped too.
No,
That's a straw man. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying that's something that you're giving. It's
No,
okay, sure. So
we have over 150,000 bricks that must go up before winter comes, and we need your help to do it. This is your brother Karim Hassan, right here on the construction site, where we're building the largest.
US, right? So that means that I'm oppressing women in Africa because I buy the products that they've made.
You're acquiescent to an oppression that's going on.
What I'm acquiescing. How do you know what I'm supporting and what I'm not supporting?
Because in this course, you've highlighted one oppression without mentioning the other one.
We can talk about all of them if
Let's
you like,
do it.
but mine specifically right now is the way that you as a man and how most men speak in conversations like this.
Okay.
Like,
oh my God. You see, yo, when listen, I've noticed this so much. When women can't control you, or when women don't have the when women don't have that that hold over you, they become like this. They have these traits. I'm telling you, it's crazy. As crazy as it sounds, this is what they do.
how mostly we refer to women as girls instead of women, and we refer to men as guys or men. And so I think that then
What's
when
the
we
problem
step
with
into what's the problem? What do you mean?
What's the issue?
So if we're discussing,
Yeah, there is no issue. They just like to make issues. That's the problem. So here the gender war has reached these Western countries, but what I'm saying is it shouldn't be reaching other places that are in more traditional societies. It's our job not to let it reach it. And hopefully these guys will like people will see this message from these other places and act accordingly to those messages, to this message.
males and females, and you consider yourself a man and you consider me a girl, you don't find a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't consider you a girl. I consider you a woman.
In colloquial terms, the way that most people are speaking, do they
pretty
say
young to me.
do they say women, or do they call a woman like me about my age a girl?
Well, in your country, I don't know. Like in America.
Here, I was just speaking with some men, and they were talking
No,
about, well, if I date a girl,
I think in this country.
well, if I
Oh,
date
right,
a
okay.
girl,
Maybe like
I need a
that.
girl,
Yeah.
like that, right? But
So what's the
we're not
issue?
girls.
What's the problem?
Do you think that there's a problem that if I step into this space right here and the men here see themselves as men and they see me as a girl, like a
Yeah, you are a girl. So what's the problem? Like I'm still trying to figure out like what the problem is. Like, give me a break.
child?
Maybe yeah.
That maybe
it's
that's
infantilizing it. That.
yeah.
Yeah. If you feel okay,
making it unfair.
maybe you're right. If so, I reckon that maybe sometimes women can also say, "I'll date a boy."
When did we say that?
I don't know, man. I've heard that.
Rarely. I'm
I know,
talking
but
about
hold on,
in
hold on.
regular.
But I haven't done. I
And
haven't
that's
done.
not right, is it? Because what we're doing is we
Yeah,
are attacking her now.
No, I'm not trying to attack
We
her.
are, because what we're doing is we're saying this is counter argument. She's
Okay, so you hear this like cuck, like just trying to defend her, and I guarantee you that this guy wants to get in her panties. I guarantee you. And it's kind of it's weird. It's weird to say the least.
actually telling you something which she believes to be true,
Right.
we need to embrace that and not bring
Fine.
some
Okay.
other
No,
argument.
you're right. You're right. I'll accept that. But I haven't done any sociological, longitudinal or otherwise
But what she just said was correct,
a broad scale study to see who is saying
if
what.
I called you a boy, you wouldn't like it, would you?
No.
And nor would I.
No.
And nor would Preston, and no one would
No, you
like
find
that.
it very
Okay. Fine.
Right, so
All right.
she's
Maybe there's some
absolutely
issues there.
valid.
Maybe you're right.
Of course. And it's the same way that
Not maybe.
so, like, I'm a woman.
Yeah, all right.
Even me as a woman,
Yeah.
that definition is based upon my relationship to my
Yeah.
husband. So I only either I'm the property of my father, I take his name, and he tells me when I'm released to
Yeah.
my
In
husband.
Islam,
And then I
it's not.
become
You're not
his
allowed to
property.
have your husband's surname.
Yeah, it's true. In Islam, you're not supposed to have your husband's surname. That's absolute fact. Yeah, it's absolute fact. You're not supposed to have your husband's surname. It's true. It's very, very true.
Not allowed to.
No,
Why
you're
is
not allowed
that?
to, because Islam came to protect 5 fundamental rights. They're called ad-darurat al-khams. One of them, so it's like life, lineage, wealth, dignity of the person, etc. So and religion. One of them is lineage. So when a woman gets married to a husband, she has to maintain her name. She can't change her name to her husband's name.
And would you agree that? Well, why is it that men are allowed to have multiple wives, but women aren't allowed to have multiple husbands?
Okay, so in Islam, we believe that.
Here we go, moving the goalpost back. Moving the goal, but like, why would you move the goalpost back where he actually gave you the clear-cut, precise answer to your whole argument about, oh, I'm property of my father, this, that, and the other. Like, he just gave you the answer, and you just are now refuting it. You moving the goalpost back. Let's hear what he has to say about the multiple multiple wife situation.
There's some principles that you need to know.
Even besides
Right.
Islam.
Oh, generally.
Let's speak generally.
Because
Okay.
it's desirable.
Why
Well,
are men allowed to fuck whoever they
because
want?
it's desirable and men have power. That's
Okay,
the
let
answer
me.
you don't want to hear, but that's the truth.
No, hold on. Let me tell you. Even if we argue in that sense, right?
Well, then if they're arguing, it's a fact.
No problem. No, but that's once again, just because it is, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, I don't
No,
think
no.
he's right. What
Right, no,
I'm saying
yeah,
is it's a
yeah.
fact
So
that men
let me
do
say- let me
marry
say
lots
right.
of women in,
Let me-
say, Utah, for example, right?
Okay, so let me answer you, right? The truth is this.
Wait, when you start something with the truth is this, it leads everyone to believe that that's the truth. And I don't.
It is the truth. It is the truth. You just don't want to accept it. It is the truth, though. It's just that you don't want to accept the truth. That's where the problems start.
I think you're more critical than that. I think you employ more of a
He's used to-
criticality than that.
Ooh,
He's used to
okay.
proselytizing. That's his
Yeah,
problem here.
right. And
So,
he's
okay.
a tall, handsome man who's very charismatic, so he can start a sentence with "the truth of the matter is," but actually it's not
Doesn't
the
work
truth.
for me.
No, well, the thing is that like she even, like, the thing is, feminism won't allow her to actually reveal how she feels about the man, but I guarantee you that she likes the man. You know, that's the thing. So that's the problem. You know, that's the issue. So and that's one thing you'll notice about feminists. And I notice it's about, like, women in general who have been, like, under the guise of this militant feminism, is that they may like you, but because they're so, like, jaded from this, they won't allow themselves to actually like you, because of this.
Your opinion.
Doesn't
Your
work for me.
opinion is that
My
what?
opinion is, I believe. I'm convinced.
like-
Actually, no, in
Right.
fairness, you have said, I think, I feel.
Yeah,
a few
right,
times.
right.
It's
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
it's cool.
All right. So,
Pretty neutral.
Islamically, right?
Islamically.
The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said,
Right, so,
"Innama an-nisa'u shaqa'iqu rijal," that men are equal to women. However, there are some exceptions from an Islamic perspective to that. So we don't believe. We will talk about absolute freedom of speech. We said that we've debunked that, kind of. You could say, yeah.
Don't have absolute equality. of
Yes,
men.
we don't believe in absolute equality. We believe in a general equality and not in an absolute one. So we would say that in order to believe in an absolute equality between men and women, you would have to assume that the natural predispositions of either men or women, whether it be biological, psychological, or otherwise, should be disregarded in terms of, for example, application of laws. Simone de Beauvoir, and I always mention her because she's quite mainstream. When she talked about feminism, she had like a second chapter called biology. Yeah.
Good feminist.
Well, that's what you would say. I don't believe she was.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why. In her second chapter on biology, she very candidly and clearly, honestly, unequivocally, unambiguously, right? Mentioned.
I just want to say one thing. Like, really look at the man talking and look at the man supporting the girl. Like, and just ask yourself, which one would you want to be? Like, seriously, like, which man would you want to be? Like, so, like, I really don't get this this need to try to fit in with these non-Muslims. Just really look at it and just really decide, okay, is this who would I want to be, this guy? Well, let's continue.
The differences between men and women in terms of biology. She even says men are stronger than women, that women are more emotional than men. All those things are maybe in the common vernacular quite
and maybe
politically
the majority
incorrect.
of times, but that's not true.
But even if that was true, I think the application of inequality doesn't fit that.
No, what I was going to say is that this is the argument. This is the thrust of the second her argument. She's saying that despite the differences, we should have equality.
Not equality, but equality and equity is very
excellent,
different.
excellent, perfect. So if you agree with me that an absolute equality is not something which is either desirable or feasible, then we can move on. But if you're saying that actually, despite the physiological, psychological, biological differences, despite that, we should have absolute equality.
Could you make clear the testimony arguments?
No, but one thing at a time, because polygamy came into it, so I'm trying to build an argument.
The testimony is an important one.
No, I don't want equality. I don't want to be a man.
So what is equity then?
All.
Equity here, usually in the dictionary, is referred to as some kind of fairness, yeah?
Right.
But once again, it's very arbitrary and subjective. So
sure, but like I just spent 6 weeks in Morocco, and what I saw there was not equity. In any
no, but that's your opinion, right? I'm not saying.
Okay, so why would you go to Morocco then? Like, if you said you spent like 6 weeks in Morocco and you didn't see equity, then why the hell would you go to that country? Like, you know, this is a majority Muslim country. Like, why would you go to these places if it goes against, like, contrary to what you believe? Probably because you're trying to spread it in these places. That's why. So it's our job to keep it from happening.
Saying it is equity as well. I've been to Morocco many times, like 3 or 4 times.
Sure, I had a great time. The people there are beautiful. I learned a lot about Islam that I did not know before. Okay. I actually agree with a lot of what's going on. But when I pass by the cafes, I see men sitting around sipping on their tea, watching football all day, and where are the women? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found. But it's
Islam. It's actually the culture of the.
Are you welcome, brother? Trying to come and defend yourself.
No, I've only been to
They're wrong for what they're doing.
No, for sure.
They are wrong for what they're doing.
That's once again.
Always complain about
when we were talking about Richard,
they're not necessarily wrong for what they do. If okay, so if the man is getting things done though, like if the man, like say a Moroccan man, he's out on the field all day, he's doing what he needs to do, and he decides like maybe the next day he's like, oh, okay, I'll just like chill. He's not in the wrong. He's like, yeah, everything is a-okay. There's no harm, no foul upon him. He didn't do anything wrong.
I told him, listen, don't make a false equivalency of saying, okay, what Islam preaches is exactly what is in the.
But we knew where he was coming from. He started in the right place.
For sure. So what I'm saying is this. So we know Islamically there's certain rights, responsibilities that men have that women don't have. For example, divorce is easier for a man. No matter any apologist wants to spin it, divorce is easier for a man than it is for a woman. I'll tell you why. Divorce is easier for a man. A man can marry up to 4 women, and if he can't do justice, he can marry only one.
I just want, but why? Like, what
I'll tell you.
The reason for that? These
are some of the differences. In some cases, the inheritance are different. Not always. Sometimes there is equality. Sometimes there isn't.
Inheritance is a big problem, I think.
But not really, because people have a misunderstanding on inheritance, by the way, and I can talk to you about that.
35 cases, it gives to the woman more than a man.
Yeah, in some cases.
30, yeah.
I don't know about 30, but what we do know that, for example, with inheritance, the highest group of people that get inheritance is a group of women, rather than men. So if you have 3 girls,
you're talking about who gets the inheritance, and then you're talking about how much inheritance.
How much? 3 girls get more than 3 boys, basically. Yeah, but then because in the Quran it says, وَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً, it says in the Quran, in chapter 4 of the Quran it says, وَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُمَا ثُلُثَا مَا تَرَكَ. If there's more than 3 girls, or 2 or more girls, actually.
Wait, girls or women?
It's girls or women.
Okay.
So it includes both. Because here,
God, Lee, this woman is a pain in the butt, bro. Give me a break.
The actual word in Arabic is females, women, yeah? If there's more than 2 or 3, then they get 2/3 of what is left behind. So the highest, in terms of inheritance, the highest group is 3 women.
Because there are more girls or women than there are men?
No. If there are 3 girls,
yeah,
and 1 boy, 3 girls,
yeah,
they get 2/3. Yes. Right. Which, if there are men in the equation, if there are men like
the thing is,
sorry, 3 women.
Okay,
yeah, sorry, I apologize. 3 women. Yes. I apologize.
You say woman, you say
no, daughter, granddaughter, etc. Yeah.
Any of the females.
Yeah, females. Yeah. 3 females get more than the men. If they are a husband, a mother and a daughter, and you die and you leave by your mother and your daughter, they get both 1/6 each. So it's equality there. In one case, there's a very clear disparity between where a boy gets more than a girl, and we can talk about that, yeah? But the point is that that's been misconstrued as well. So there's 3 things here we've talked about.
I mean, the reason behind, I think that
So
inheritance
is asking for the
reason.
reason.
It's the reason why men feel like they have property and that no one else can touch it. So like when we were nomads before, when we were hunter-gatherers, before we decided, oh, we're going to stay here and we're going to plant and whatever and cultivate, right? Then men decided, this is my land, this is my house, this is my donkey, and this is my wife, and don't you touch none of my shit, because when she has my children, I'm going to know that they're mine because you haven't touched her and she hasn't gone anywhere else. And now I know that I'm passing on all the things that are mine to my children. Okay. It's a completely capitalist, patriarchal way to think. And I don't think that it has to be that way.
Yeah,
if we weren't worried about property rights, we wouldn't be worried about owning women.
One thing at a time. By the way, Islam says nothing about owning women, yeah? Like in terms of your wife is not
I'm speaking generally on this planet. I'm talking about human beings.
Fine. But I'm just going back here. So apart from those kind of 3 main things.
I'm speaking as a human being. Are you speaking as a human or a Muslim?
I'm speaking as because you asked me a question about Islam. Then I'll come back to you about the human point, yeah? So in regards to Islam, these are the 3 main points I can think of now. Maybe there's a 4th one. Maybe leadership could be a 4th one, yeah? But even that is a controversial topic, so we're not going to go into it. These are the 3 main points that basically there is a difference between men and women, yeah? Now, apart from that, I can't really think of that many
Do you
points.
agree that there are other genders besides men and women?
No.
Good.
No.
I'm glad he said that. Shut that straight down. Don't even give him like a chance to even have that situation, you know.
No,
why is that?
Biologically,
I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about gender.
Well, I mean,
I think Islam predates transgender.
But this is the problem.
No, it doesn't. There were people, for example, there was transgender people at the time of the Prophet. People don't know. Yeah, there were people that.
How were those people treated?
Well, the Prophet was very nice to them and kind to them. In fact, there was a discussion.
We had this conversation, not with you, but
there's a discussion. There was a discussion with the scholars. They say, okay, should a person, because they were actually a lot of them actually had been castrated, and so they identified a lot of them with females, femininity.
So they were hermaphrodites.
No, they were castrated.
Oh, there were men who were okay.
Yeah, so but then I started to identify more with femininity, if you like, yeah, socially constructed, whatever. Females. So a lot of scholars decided like there's a difference of opinion. Does a woman have to wear her headscarf in front of that person or not? There's actually discussion. So because is she does she have to wear a headscarf? Discussion, yeah.
Why does she have to wear a headscarf?
That's another main point. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That is definitely.
I like to jump around.
Yeah. So these are the main differences. But dress code is definitely different. The reason why, in a nutshell, is because men and women are different. If you want a one-word answer,
women have to wear headscarves because
they're different to men. So here, the point is this. Remember, look, we said that. If you go back to Simone de Beauvoir, listen to me, yeah. Simone de Beauvoir, her point is that biology, psychology, and physiology, despite differences, we should have absolute equality. I'm saying no, or Islam says we should have general equality, but where there's differences, those should be accounted for. That's the argument.
The problem here is going to be how we account for them.
Yeah.
That's
So
going to be the
how
issue.
we account for them, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest with you, right? There's two things in Islam. There's something called the illah and something called the hikmah. The illah, as we talked about before, is the reason behind the actual reason behind it. I cannot tell you. I'm not even allowed to tell you what the illah is, because unless the Quran mentions it very clearly or the hadith, I can't say the reason is this. I can only guess what the hikmah is, the wisdom. You understand?
You have to accept it. Yes,
Yeah. So for us, the reason why we do all those things, in a nutshell, Christina, now listen, is because we genuinely believe that the Quran and the Sunnah is rationalizably, something which has come from God. It's a revelation. And God knows all the variables. He knows the extraneous variables. He knows the societal variables. He knows the personal. No, we don't believe he's a man in that sense.
You say he.
Yeah, because in the vernacular, if we say she, it's specific. We're supposed to say
All
he.
languages are
An important point, and
sexist.
important point
Well,
to
look,
make here, though,
once
is
again,
that
it depends on how you define sexism and
Well,
misogyny.
if you're saying that God is not a man
Yes, he's not a man. Yes, he's not a man.
and he has no gender,
Yeah, we don't believe
but you
Jesus
say
is
he.
God.
But you say he.
Yeah.
You say he too.
Let me tell you something. In Arabic language, the word huwa, which is a pronoun, the first of 12 pronouns,
Right.
huwa means he. It's used to refer to singular men. It's used to refer, in the plural, hum is referred to men and women. So it's a little bit confusing. It's not the same as our English language.
I know you've got to separate
Whereas in
two people and then for a large
in Arabic, if you say she, it can refer to, for example, inanimate objects in plural form are females. If I'm talking about the trees, I'll use a plural form, a female form for that, a feminine form for that. So it's not as stringent, or it's different in Arabic.
Well,
I'm
why
using
is it
English
that-
language.
But why is it that
So what
in
is
Arabic?
yeah.
How do you refer to Allah?
We refer Allah.
Which pronoun?
Okay, so Allah refers to himself as we in the plural,
So
magisterial plural. It's referred to in the third person as he. But as we said before, that's the default.
why is he the default?
Why is he the default? That's the language.
Right, like most languages.
Like most language, but
Like there's a group of all women here, and then you walk over.
If one person accepts Islam because of you, because of
Assalamu alaikum. If you feel restricted or unfulfilled in your job, then you're wasting your time if you think things are magic.
We're ellos. If you're a group of men, we're ellos.
No,
But if one man walks into a group of all women, all of a sudden
no. Let me say how it works. In Arabic.
I think the problem with her is that she can't face the fact that like men and women aren't equal biologically, physically, emotionally, and you know, I will venture to say even mentally. You know, I will actually say mentally as well. It just seems like that she can't. She has the desire to always be right. That's the problem we see in this situation right now.
Arabic. So if there's a group of men and women, it's hum.
Yeah.
If there's a group of females, it's hunna. If there's a group of majority females, it's hunna. It's like, you know, they. Yeah.
And there's a group of the only men.
Only men. There is no. That's the thing. You could argue that there is no specific, like here, hum is men and women, and it's only men as well. Whereas you have two pronouns that can be.
It's the same as Spanish.
No, maybe I don't know. I'm not a Spanish speaker.
It's the same as Spanish.
Yeah. So you can't really argue this. Let me say why, right?
Why not?
Because let me give you one verse in the Quran. Yeah. It says in Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter 33 of the Quran, "Min al-mu'minina rijal." From, and the word here is mu'minin, the believers. The believers are men. from the believers are men.
Mankind.
Yeah, now, mu'minina is in the hum form. Hum refers to both men and women. This is the proof of it, yeah? And here is extrapolating the mena of the group of men and women. You get it? The point is, you could argue that hum refers to either all men and or men and women, whereas hunna refers to only all women. So there are two pronouns.
You don't have a word.
But there are two pronouns in Arabic that refer to women and only one that refer to men.
No, but that's because the word for men is all inclusive. It's the same way in Spanish. It's that the men if there's one man, the group is considered all men. That's the point.
No, that's not how it's in Arabic. Say for example, if you've got a majority woman and you have one man, then really this is a group of females. Majority is females. Yes.
So if you have a group of people and there were 100 women there and there's one man,
yes.
Which pronoun do you use?
If there's 100
men and women.
If there's 100, no, you'd use the one for females. Okay. Because it would confuse the people. You say hunna because it's majority females and it would confuse people. Good. Yeah, because it's 100 women, it's a lot. Anyways, going back to what we were talking about.
We got sidetracked onto language.
Yes. By the way, there's some interesting.
I was much more comfortable with the philosophy.
Yeah. Going back. No, but it's good. Do you know something else interestingly? Yeah. You can use something.
I can or we can.
No, in Arabic.
Pronouns are very important, don't you think?
Why do you think they're important?
Because when you're speaking to me and you say you can do this and you can do that, it feels accusatory in a way, and it's something that we can.
So, I think this female has been through so many things that she just has to be like she has to like just like I guess you can say cause an argument or cause something because she's been through, God knows what, so this is why these arguments occur instead of her trying to learn something. She has a problem with pronouns. I never thought we would do mental gymnastics over pronouns. I never thought we would be in a situation where people are doing mental gymnastics over pronouns. But let's continue.
All do, and I feel like you're speaking to the crowd, not just to me.
But I'm talking to you. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, yeah?
Sure.
All right. So, in a nutshell, the reasons, I can't tell you all the reasons. For example, the hijab is mentioned in the Quran, why the hijab is prescribed.
I thought it wasn't.
No, the hijab, that particular, says فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. So the reason why, one of the reasons behind it is so that women don't get exploited by men.
But
one of the
why
reasons behind
we
it.
Focus on the men exploiting?
We are as well, because there's a whole injunction for men to lower their gaze. And so there's another injunction for women to protect themselves, in a sense.
But if men are lowering their gaze, then why would women have to?
They're not. That's the problem. We're not lowering our gaze.
And why is it that like women wouldn't be attracted to men and look at men in a sexual way?
That's the thing. We go back to our biology, psychology, and physiology. We're saying that we're different. Men and women are fundamentally. Pardon?
I have a libido.
Yes, but it's not the same. Libido. It's not the same as the man's libido.
I have a libido, very strong libido. Yo, this is crazy because you're in the situation, right? Here's the feminism situation in a nutshell. This is the situation with feminism in a nutshell. They hate men, right? But they still want access to men. Because although they're going against nature, nature is sometimes hard to fight. So yes, they hate men. We can be honest. Yes, they do. But they still have that innate desire to be with men. But let's continue.
Whatever you want to do, it's not going to be the same.
That's a very general statement.
No, I'm not saying it's less or more. I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying it's. You got red, my friend. Listen, I'm not saying it's less or more. Yeah, I'm not saying it's more intense or less intense. I'm just saying it's different. Would you agree with that? Most studies that I've looked at.
I don't believe in those two genders.
Well, look. Most studies that I've looked at have shown that men have more of an instant impulse, whereas women are more slow burners, if you like.
I think that has to do more with some socialization that's happening, especially today.
No, I don't think so. I think generally speaking, you know, women are more slow burners when it comes to sexual activity, whereas men are more instantly activated.
I think we want to.
Okay, and that is a true story, but the generation that we live in right now, we, you know, as crazy as it sounds, they're which we call it. Women are not slow burners anymore, you know. But in general, you would think so. You would think you would think that it would be the case, but that is not the case. You know, okay, they're slow burners for the guys that the so-called average man. But when it comes to the top tier man, hell no, forget that. You know, that goes out the window.
Say that, and that's why we don't have a positive word to discuss women who like to have sex with multiple partners or lots of sex with one partner.
We have that. We have those words.
You do not have any room to maneuver here.
In English, I'm
it's
talking
in your religion.
Polygamy.
It's in your creed. You can't change it.
No.
Yeah,
polygamy.
It's not for a man. Polygyny is for a man.
No.
Yes. Polygyny is for a man, right? Yes. Get the dictionary. Polygamy is for men and women, both of them.
Yeah, I'm talking more about polyamory.
Yeah, that polyandry as well. That's for women specifically.
No. Polyandry is for women to have multiple husbands.
Yes. So there is a word.
Polyamory.
What's that?
Polyamory is literally polyamory, the love for more than one person.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know that.
Sounds good.
So no, but so we do have the word there. What's the problem?
No, I'm not talking about the concept of being able to do that. I'm saying, what do you call a woman in the most positive way possible who enjoys having sex a lot?
304. Especially if she wants to have it with different partners. That's what we call him, a 304. There is nothing positive about that.
There's only one word, and it's a terrible word. I'm not going to repeat it.
No.
And what do you call a man who likes to have lots of sex?
That's going to be a positive.
A man? I mean, that's pretty much how it comes down to. He's just a man. Like, what the hell? And I don't think she's accounting the fact that, like, women's access to sex is way more available than it is to men. I don't think she understands that, but let's continue on. Let's continue.
Yeah, I agree with them. So look. Let me tell you something. Islamically,
Wait, but you didn't tell me.
I don't know. In English.
Yeah, in English.
I don't know.
I don't know if you have those words.
He's smiling. I think he knows.
No, look, I'm not disagreeing with you on this.
Sure.
This is a point of agreement. I think this is not a point of disagreement. I agree that when women do it and whatever men do, that's a point of agreement. It's not disagreement. What I'm gonna say to you is that, generally speaking, things like polygamy, the hijab, all of those things are in a sentence explained by the fact that there are differences.
He's going to say it's your genetics, basically. That's it.
But there are differences, but like, so what?
Okay.
Why would that?
That's exactly the argument of the feminists.
Why would that relegate a woman to have to cover her entire body?
Let me ask you that.
Cover her
Good.
face?
Good.
Why?
Let me ask you a question. Why
It's
are we?
the same argument.
No.
Give for women who
That's
like,
a very.
what are you wearing?
No. That's very good. Yeah. Now we're going somewhere. So you're saying there are differences, but we should disregard the differences.
Not disregard them, but
So what should we do? What should we do with the differences? How should we account them?
It's the same way that I think that what a woman wears in the street should not determine whether she's rapeable or not. We should be, or my father wanted to keep me in the house when I was young because he was so afraid that I would be assaulted. And instead, we should have been out on the streets talking to the young men who might want to assault me. Yeah. He should be speaking to those men. The men should be speaking to other men. It shouldn't be about keeping women in the house and keeping them covered while they walk
No
the
problem.
streets.
I'm asking a simple question.
Listening to me?
Yeah, I got that.
The thing is why wouldn't a woman want to be in the house? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of trials and tribulations on these streets, especially in Western societies where there's purges going on left and right, and you're seeing more people getting robbed at gunpoint, pistol whipped, and all types of things. So why wouldn't a woman want to be in the house? Like, I really don't get it. Like, what is she arguing against? You know what I mean? Like, I really don't get it. Any there's reasons why things are done, and they don't get it. They really don't get it. Well, let's continue.
I got that argument. I understand it. What I'm asking you is, we agree that there are differences. There are two ways.
Assalamu alaikum. This is an urgent appeal for the people of Yemen. The suffering in Yemen right now is truly unimaginable. 79% of the population is living below the poverty line, and 65% are classified as extremely poor. The hunger levels are unprecedented. Nothing like I've ever.
We're dealing with this.
Yeah, but I think we disagree about those differences.
We either accept those differences and account for them, or disregard those differences. What should we do?
Well, there's a mid ground. I don't think you can.
What's the middle ground? Tell me what the middle ground is.
I don't know. I just feel like if we're smart enough to be able to develop books and laws that are gonna dictate how we live our lives, we can develop something that doesn't say that women have to behave a certain way in order to stop themselves from being raped.
But Christina,
But
Christina, you see, the question I'm asking is very profound, and you know, it's actually the building. Look, I want you to understand something, right? Before we can't build castles on thin air, okay? Arguments are like,
can build them on sand, though.
Right? Yeah. No, it will be weak foundation.
I'm from the beach, though, but I've seen castles built on sand.
No, what I'm saying, maybe they're sand castles. What I'm talking about here is, if we want to have a coherent, logical understanding of why we're doing certain things, we have to actually have a foundation which is quite solid and firm. So here, as we can see here, we've identified that there are differences between men and women. Now we've seen that there are two ways of dealing with those things. In a nutshell, you can either account for those differences or disregard those differences. Now I'm asking you, what should we do?
Well, the thing is, because I don't agree that it's about differences. What I believe is that men have an ego problem, and they have a jealousy problem, and they view women as
why is that a problem?
And they view.
Yeah, you know, the thing is like, don't let these women guilt trip you for having an innate nature to maybe like want to protect like women or keep women from wandering. You know what I mean? Don't let that happen. The thing is, what most of these feminists want, and most of the women who started gender war, they want access to your resources, right? But they want to be able to do other things and not keep their end of the bargain in terms of getting the resources. So they want to be able to get the Birkin bag. They want to be able to get everything like dolled up on your dime, but they want to be able to like not reciprocate with affection, appreciation, and things like that. That's what it basically comes down to.
Women as their property.
Okay,
and
maybe
so not only do they not want to see, I think it's just about them not wanting to have their property violated by another man.
Okay,
that's what I think.
That stuff I agree with.
It has
no
nothing
problem.
to do with protecting women.
Then you agree with the same thing. All right, no problem. We all agree with that.
You agree?
Yeah.
That
We have
men
that
an
issue.
ego
Yes,
problem,
yes.
and they have
Definitely.
walk around doing dick competitions.
He's
Yes.
definitely saying something differently to you.
Yeah, I'm
He's talking about genetic differences as well, and you can't exclude that.
What I'm saying is, what should we do with biological, psychological, and physiological differences? Should we take them into consideration, or should we disregard them?
No, we should take them into consideration.
Okay,
but that doesn't
perfect.
mean that women would have to dress in a particular way.
So why are you
because
dictating that?
men can't control them.
So how do we dictate?
I don't know if anyone should dictate. I'm an anarchist. Like, I don't even like that label either. Like, I don't want anybody dictating anything to me.
You want to wear what you want.
So she admitted that she's like unruly. She's what you want to call it? She's like these kind of things, However, like, I mean, I know that you couldn't be an anarchist in Morocco because they wouldn't play that. And again, that comes from keeping these societies traditional and not letting the gender war spread. The gender war shouldn't reach places like Morocco, Algeria, Russia, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. In the non-Muslim part of Nigeria is kind of touched there already. The Muslim part of Nigeria is still pretty much solid, but it's our job to prevent these things from happening in these places, and it's our job to prevent anarchists like this from bringing it to these places.
Do you want a man to dictate what you wear?
The thing is, I have to change the way that I dress because I don't want that kind of attention, and I don't want to live in a world where I have to wear a hijab or a burqa or sweatpants
no problem. I'm not telling you to do that, by the way.
To avoid harassment by men.
No problem. But you live in a world. Let me put it in a very straightforward parable for you, right? We live in a world.
Flashbacks. Oh shit. Okay.
You got attacked, right? Last Sunday.
I got attacked last Sunday.
Oh, that was just last Sunday.
Okay, perfect.
He provoked that. So we're going to go in
with this.
He said he was going to apologise.
I provoked him with this.
You were wearing this.
No, I put it on when I saw that they all want to attack me.
Why did they want to attack you?
I'll come to that after. We'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah. Let's go back to our discussion. The point. Listen. Go back to our discussion. Our discussion is.
But wait, but you agreed with me that the reason that we feel like women are supposed to be treated a certain way is because men can't control their egos and their jealousy, and they feel that women are their property.
Do you know what? Okay. Right. There's a presupposition in what you're.
That genetically men feel jealous.
All those things. Look. There's a presupposition in what you're saying, which is that. The problem you define.
Hey, I'm just gonna say something. Yo, if you're a traditional Muslim man right now, you are an awesome human being. I'm just letting you know that right now. If you are a traditional Muslim man who haven't bought into the liberalism, who haven't bought into the feminism, who haven't bought into like watering down the religion, you are a freaking awesome man. And I just want to shout that out. And I hope that you hold it down. Okay? Really. You're awesome. I just had to mention that.
Define them as problems. You could define them as either.
Street harassment is a problem.
Just 2 minutes. All right, 2 minutes.
Don't worry, I gotta go too.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Let me finish this. A presupposition is the way.
Political wing over there.
But you see,
I saw his video.
Yeah. Look, listen. There's a presupposition. And it's the same one that de Beauvoir uses. Yeah, she in her chapter of biology, she talks about how men are possessive and these things. Yeah, no, she's mainstream. So I like to. I'm not gonna.
But read some black feminists, some womanists.
I have read some black feminists, like Ngoni, what's her name? Ngoza, whatever her name is. She wrote some little books.
But she writes fiction. I'm talking.
No. She wrote the Feminist Manifesto. Why everyone should be a feminist. Anyways, look, going back.
She's very mainstream too. Like,
okay, I've looked at her stuff. She's more. I would say she's more fair. Yeah.
Read Bell Hooks.
No, not yet.
Audre Lorde.
Who?
Audre Lorde.
I've come across some of her stuff, but I haven't read her books yet. I'll put it in my reading list. Look, yeah. What I was gonna say is that look. The point is. Listen.
Feminist Dawa.
No, I'm open. Yeah. To reading. To reading, not to.
Well, to reading.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reading besides his one book. I know people who are just like, that's my book, all I need. So you're not that person.
Yeah, all right. Oh, thank you for that. So I was saying to you, look,
we'll come to that.
The presupposition is how men should be disregarded, or should be seen as negative, or should be, or is the problem of men. Okay, so it's a problem for us.
It's really the problem of women. It's men.
So now, how do we solve this problem? We've got men, let's say, that have certain traits that are differentiated from women. we want to do this and we want to do that. We're more polygamous with this or that. We're more aggressive. Well, 99.9% of people in prison are men. Whatever, yeah, all of those things.
Yeah, but he wants doctrine.
So what do we do with that? How do we prescribe? What do we
not agree with that?
What I'm saying is, what is the solution? What is your solution for it? Have you got a solution for it?
Education.
For how
Education.
men wouldn't assault women?
Education, right? Education, it has to be that. To teach children to treat women with respect, and for men to be treated with respect.
Okay, that guy just needs to shut up. He's like so annoying, bro. That dude is so annoying, dude. Seriously. Like, that guy is so annoying, man. I'm telling you. Like, I had to leave a comment. Go ahead. Let's go.
Let's say education is a good thing, and we agree with it. No problem. No, let's do education. But what I'm saying is this: if you're saying that women will be exploited by men, and sexually this is whatever. No problem. Shouldn't women take precautions?
Yeah, but precautions doesn't mean that we should stay home.
I'm not saying that.
Dress in a
I'm not. No, but I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: what precautions have proved to be more successful?
I don't think wearing those clothes has been very successful.
No, but let me ask you a question.
I go out on the street with baggy jeans and whatever, and like
no. But let me once again, right? Precautions which prevent.
With all due respect, I don't think she gets that much attention anyway out on the street. With all due respect, I know for me, I would just look at her and just see another like. I would already off the back have the expectation that she was a militant feminist just based on how she dresses and stuff like that. You know, I would already be like tipped off.
And as I said, with education, and you're saying education, I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking.
So
like,
do you agree? Do you agree?
Do you think men can say? And inherently, biologically, I really just want to ravage a woman when I see her. But you know what? I won't do that because it's wrong.
No,
I mean, this is your freedom of speech to be who you are as a man biologically, but actually, you cannot infringe upon my rights to be a woman. And we're different.
Yeah, I get it. But so just one point.
Actually asked me. They've said, "Why don't I rape? If I'm not religious, I have no morals, I'm an atheist. Why don't I rape?" It's a very interesting thing. Yeah, they asked me that, as if I have no innate morality, which I do.
If you do, you got to ask where it came from. All right. So
evolution, my friend. But we'll have that discussion another time.
Evolution. That's a different case. All right. So in a nutshell, in one word, we would say that one measure which forces men not to look at women.
No.
Hold on. It does. A certain. If we're saying that you don't want men to look at you as commodities or objectify you, right? One measure that forces that is privatization of the ornaments of women. It forces that. You can't feast on or exploit that which you can't see.
I saw women wearing.
You see what I'm saying?
Wearing jalabas that really showed their beautiful curves. I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
Mohammed, pleasure.
Mohammed, you're right.
So there you have it, guys. This is what the gender war has created, and this is what we have to avoid spreading into places in our selected destinations. Now, there is the hashtag passport boys, passport brothers going around, right? Now, I do hold two passports. I hold one here, and I hold one in my country of respective origin. So my audience is for the dudes who are really trying to do things like in the traditional classic way, not in for the dudes who want to just go around and like knock everything down in these places. Like, hey, I'm not going to talk against them, that's their prerogative, you know but for me it's for me, I'm going to say that it's it's something that I'm not going to condone, but I'm not going to knock them for it. you know that's their business. It's none of my business. It's not a concern of mine. But when it comes to the when it comes to basically what we have to do, we have to in essence push the line, push this line that we're pushing for the brothers who want to just like settle down, who want to do things the right way, who want to be family men, and this that and the third. This is what we have to do. We have to keep anarchists like this out of these places. In London, she's able to do that. She's able to do it. It's not a problem. However, she wasn't able to do it in Morocco, and we need to keep it like that. Luckily, she didn't know Arabic, she didn't know French, and she also didn't know Darija, which is a blessing. So it's our job to keep things like that from happening. This is where we come in this equation. So with that being said, I'm going to end this live. I'll probably be live again on Wednesday or tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow. No problem. I will be going live tomorrow. I should be able to go live tomorrow, inshallah. And we will pick up on these issues. Jazakallah khair for those who tuned in. I will also say that it's just not for Muslims. I don't want to just like, the audience is like mostly targeted towards Muslims, yes. But the way things are, like these practicalities transcend religion for the most part. These are pretty practical things that can transcend religion. So with that being said, I'm off until the next one. And you guys leave your thoughts, leave your comments. I'm open to collaboration as well. So inshallah, if you want to collaborate, let's do it, inshallah. But until then, I'm off until the next one. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa jarama.